Pavel, it's really interesting, the idea of a learning ecosystem, but what does it actually mean, and why have you chosen that as a model?
Well, the notion of an ecosystem, and then contrasted to these systems of education, highlights that we have, first of all, multiple providers that can provide for different learning needs, and interdependency between these providers, so they can actually support learner paths for a long time, potentially for the whole life, beginning with birth and until the very light days of our lives. So something like that does not exist at the moment, but potentially would emerge and would help us go through our personal lifelong learning journeys.
Okay, so all sounds really good in theory. Is there anywhere that you're doing it in practice?
In practice, I think there are multiple places where we see the experiments, and I've been personally involved in a couple of them. So one experiment is what we see emerging in the Bay Area in San Francisco, and we've been helping different providers recognize that they're actually part of the same ecosystem by conducting sessions that bring them together and map them along their lifelong learner needs. And the second experiment is being currently conducted in Russia, in Moscow, in St. Petersburg, where about 50 teachers and several hundred students are building a sort of ecosystemic relationship around the creation of jobs of the future, skills of the future that students try to acquire to get more employable.
So how would that last experimental situation operate from the student perspective and the other players in the system?
So what happens is that students want to get skills and competences that would allow them to be seen as more attractive to their employers. And so they come into sort of a system which allows them to get these various jobs of the future. And the jobs of the future are identified based on our separate line of work, which is called Atlas of Emerging Job, which was created in partnership with employers from 25 sectors, indicating what the perspective of those sectors. So students identify those potential roles that they can play in the future of their industries, and then competence profiles are designed for them. And then they create their own personal learning journeys, which is the idea that they need gradually to build these competence profiles from where they stand now. And to build those competence profiles, they actually need to get experiences, real life experiences, that would allow them to understand specific concepts and get specific skills. And these experiences are bundled in what we call micro roles. So micro role is a specific position that you can fill in. For instance, as an accountant, you can get many concepts around financial world, around mathematics and so on. So there are skills that are and competencies that support that micro role, and people move from one micro role into another, gradually building their own competence profile.
So who provides these micro roles and these learning experiences?
So these micro roles are provided by teachers who see that these modules actually allow them to test new pedagogies and also to connect to real life experiences. So the teachers also bring in organizations like companies, like businesses that provide real life cases that students would solve, and through that would get a specific experience. So it's an opportunity for teachers that can compete for students and provide those micro roles as learning modules.
So who's resourcing all of this in the system? Is this the school funding this?
It's actually the project that was launched with a zero budget, basically. So the zero budget from the government, from the schooling system. The whole project is operating on the funds that students themselves give to teachers, and teachers share with the several people that serve as ecosystemic maintainers. So some of these people help build personal trajectories of students, other people help bring new mentors and new teachers and new organizations into this ecosystem, and some people maintain the IT platform that actually connects these learners and providers.
So all sounds really good, but is it a bolt-on, a building, or a completely change the existing system approach?
Well, at this point, this is complementary education, and it's being developed as such. So, but what it allows, it actually opens up the system to bigger set of opportunities. In our opinion, the emergence of learning ecosystem does not negate the existing institutions. They should be part of the picture, but the picture should be more diverse. There should be new players and opportunity for them to enter. And to do that, we need to sort of unbundle education. So at the moment it's bundled, that everything happens within one integrated provider. We need to open up to different possibilities to allow students to get different modules and different learning experiences around many multiple providers that can organize such experiences.
So coming back to the student and finishing with the student, what are the outcomes then for them and the advantages and the benefits that accrue from this approach?
So the actual benefit is that they get skills that are better matched to the needs of their potential employers, because the employers can identify those skills, and the system immediately reacts by providing a respective training. And B, they get sort of say real life experiences already when they study. So the students themselves get more confidence, they already know what they are doing, and they become more attractive to their employers.
And presumably they're able to model that way of working.
Yes,
when
exactly.
they move into the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like a win-win all round.
Yeah, it is win-win. Of course, there is a question that there is certain competition with existing institutions that are seemingly more inefficient in this situation. And obviously, when they see such systems emerging, they would create a pressure, the legal pressure on such ecosystems. So that's a risk. Or they can improve their own providings of the services and become part of the picture, which I think is a positive scenario.
Wow, so it's clearly the ecosystem concept and the dynamic nature of an ecosystem does seem to be very apt in terms of the way in which you described it. So thank